everyone, welcome back to Rebecca's Colouring Arts and Crafts. So I thought I would today do my review on Barbara Erskine's The Ghost Tree. I'm still not quite finished yet, as you'll notice, but I just decided that I wanted to do this review because I've been thinking about it a lot and I'm getting close, very close to the end, and I'm still loving it just as much as I did. I'm doing it this way just because I'm a bit busy, so I don't have time to go and reset things up in different spot. I will try and get it back to in front of my bookcase when I can, but for now I'm just doing it this way. So I thought I would tell you a bit more about Barbara Erskine, The Ghost Tree. First things first, as you'll see, our spine, it's a pretty pale pink with purple foil. And on the back, I'm just going to read the chapter description before I go talking about it. I'm going to try and make this non-spoiler so you can enjoy it and find out about it without the story being spoiled, because I don't like that myself. So yeah, it says, before you follow the path into your family's history, beware of the secrets you may find. Ruth has returned to Edinburgh after many years of exile. Left rootless by the death of her estranged father, she is faced with the daunting task of sorting through his possessions. Amidst the dust of her old life, Ruth discovers a hidden diary from the 18th century, written by her ancestor Thomas Erskine. As she sifts through the ancient pages of the past, Ruth is pulled into a story she can't escape. As the youngest son of a noble family, Thomas's life starts in genteel poverty, but his extraordinary experiences propel him from the high seas to Lord Chancellor. Yet on his journey through life, he makes a powerful enemy who hounds him to the death and beyond. Ruth opens a door to the past that she can't close, and she meets a ghost in her family tree who wasn't invited. She'll have to draw upon new friends and old in what will become a battle for her very survival. And it says, the inspiration for The Ghost Tree lies in Barbara Erskine's own personal history, branching back to the days of Thomas Erskine, her great-grandfather, 5 times removed. Once again, the Sunday Times best-selling author brings the past to life in vivid, spellbinding colour. So yeah, so where do I start? This book's it's really surprised me. It's very hard to put down. It's a very addicting and intriguing read. Like, the chapters are short, like maximum 2 pages to about 7 pages. As you'll notice here, we got a little thistle at the front of the page, but let's just see, this is the past chapter. I'm just trying to find one of the little history characters for our ghosts. So see here, we've got these little chapters of, like, with different writing. I'm just going to try zooming in to show you this. So let's focus it. So we've got these little chapters here where you've got our different writing, which is based on when our main character Ruth is actually talking to Thomas Erskine. So Ruth is pretty much, I'll go through, our main characters are Ruth, Timothy, April, Thomas, Malcolm, Finley, and Andrew Farquhar. So Finley is pretty much like a celebrity chef. So as you'll notice here, the chapters start each time with this, and they're very short chapters. So I'm just gonna zoom out. Whoops. So pretty much Finley is a celebrity chef. Malcolm is a famous book writer, but also, I guess, a bit of a psychic, and it does contain aspects of paranormal in the book, going by, as you'll notice by the title, and we'll zoom out a bit more so that you can see the book. So it does contain aspects of paranormal. April and Timothy are sort of, I guess, our villains, as well as Andrew Farquhar is a villain, but he's I don't want to spoil it. He's sort of a ghost. And then Ruth is our main character, who is descendant from Thomas Erskine. And she is learning how to control her paranormal powers, I guess you could say, and learning how to speak with the dead, pretty much. So, I don't want to say too much about the story because I don't want to spoil it. But it's kind of, as I said, but it's also a historical fiction. So, it's got a lot of elements of historical factors and historical times, based in Scotland, England, Edinburgh, London. I don't know about England. It's London, basically. London, Edinburgh, Scotland, and just some places like that. And it actually has quite a lot of depth to the story, going between the past and the future, or past and the current times. But I find it actually blends really well together with the short chapters. So you're sort of swapping between, like, say Ruth may be doing her studies on her ancestor Timothy, and next thing you're in a story of Timothy and continuing on with his story. And so it mixes very well together. Not Timothy, Thomas. Confusing, 2 T names. But I actually find the past and the present actually mixes really well together with the story. And I find, even though Timothy and April are our villains, and they actually, well, Timothy especially does some pretty bad things and is pretty obsessed with Ruth, I find, you know how you have those moments where you absolutely loathe a character and despise them? I find that actually doesn't happen here with Timothy and April. Like, at first I didn't like them, but now they've kind of grown on me because their characters have developed so much. And getting near the end, like, I don't like some of the things they do, but I really find I'm actually kind of attached to the villains in our story, as well as the good guys in the story. And I'm just looking here. I did write some notes, but I can't work out how to put it all together. And I just find the story goes in ways you don't expect. Like, you might want to see more of one character, but being short chapters, it actually goes on to the next character. So it's kind of, I guess, leaving you on a bit of a cliffhanger each time, and that makes you want to keep reading and wanting to find out what happens next to the characters. Like, I've intended to read one chapter some nights, and next thing later I'm through like 10-20 chapters, and it's like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. And yeah, so it actually really does draw you in, and these short chapters are actually really good for keeping you going, but also keeping the suspense there, keeping you wondering what is going on with that character, what is happening, and what will happen next. And I actually really like that. I like how the characters' relationships link in, even though some aren't the healthiest of relationships, shall we say. And I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not sure much of what else to say, but that pretty much things go wrong. Ruth has a friend called Harriet, I think it is, and basically Harriet is like Malcolm. She's a historian book writer, and she convinces Ruth to try talking to Timothy, and pretty much Andrew Farquhar comes along with that sort of storyline and that past. And yeah, let's just say he's not necessarily a good character, but you're still kind of attached to him. So I really like the way that she has worked all of the storyline in together and the characters in together and combined the past and the present and how the story actually runs its course. I'm not really sure what else to say because I don't want to spoil things, but I really hope this has helped you decide if it is something you'd be interested in. I would highly recommend this book. I've been surprisingly attached. As you all know, I typically own a lot of fantasy, and now that I'm reviewing books, I'm trying to, shall we say, increase my range of different genres that I like to read. And I've discovered that I actually really like the historical, paranormal, kind of combining them together in the historical aspects. And I think if I came across another Barbara Erskine book, I would definitely consider getting it because it is hooking me into the storyline so much. It also says in here that she's a best-selling author of over a dozen novels. Her first book, Lady Hay, has sold more than 3 million copies worldwide and has never been out of print since it was first published 30 years ago. Her books have been translated into over 25 languages and are international bestsellers. Barbara lives near Hay on Wye in the Welsh borders. So, yeah, I would probably definitely consider reading more Barbara Erskine books because I'm loving how it's coming out, and it makes me more interested to read more different types of novels on the historical fiction, because I love the way that these authors actually combine different elements in there. So, yeah, I would highly recommend this book. If I had to, I would probably actually give it a 5 out of 5 stars because I've loved it, and typically I'm really, really into my fantasy. And this is probably the first proper historical fiction / paranormal that I've read. I do have some Outlander, as you would have seen in one of my book hauls, but I haven't actually gotten to reading those yet. But this makes me more excited to get to those because of just how much I've really loved this book. And it is an extremely gorgeous copy. So yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to wrap it up there, and I will see you next time. Bye!